Hi, this is Sherry Gallagher with a video on the control of monitoring and measuring equipment, aka calibration. This is section 7.6 of ISO 13485 2016. This is the auditor's candy store. If there is a single device out there out of calibration and in use, expect the auditor to find it. Your mission, should you accept it, is to make sure every monitoring and measuring device in use is within calibration status. Actually, you don't have a choice. You kind of have to do it. Calibration begins back in the design stage. Your organization must determine what characteristics need to be monitored and/or measured and how to measure to ensure conformity of product. Do you need a micrometer or a caliper or an optical comparator? Maybe you need a simple ruler. The measuring device needed should be determined as part of the transfer of the design to production. Also part of the transfer is the procedure of how to measure and how frequently. Once the measuring equipment is identified and purchased, the equipment must be calibrated or verified prior to use. Most measuring equipment arrives with a calibration certificate, but please check it because I have seen them arrive with an expired certificate. The manufacturer may recommend recalibration intervals, but your organization can determine a shorter or longer interval depending on usage and past history. The equipment must be identified as to calibration status. Now, frequently this is done with stickers, but in an environment with heavy concentrations of oil, the stickers may fall off. In those cases, etching a unique identifier on the equipment and requiring the calibration status to be verified before use is an acceptable method. Now, a pet peeve of mine is when the calibration procedure allows for the equipment to be used for 30 days beyond the calibration date. It is my opinion that this desensitizes the users as to verifying the equipment is within calibration. The most robust system I saw required the user to note the calibration due date as well as the unique identifier on the manufacturing record. Calibration must be traceable to national standards. In the USA, that's NIST, the National Institute for Standards and Technology. If your organization does its own calibration using master devices, the master devices must be within calibration and traceable to national standards. The auditor will look at the path from the equipment to the master gauge to national standards. Records of the calibration as found status and if adjusted after adjustment conditions must be maintained. It's not an if you want to. You must maintain them. If the equipment must be adjusted, it is your organization's responsibility to determine what impact that has on product produced between the adjustment date and the last time the equipment was found within calibration. This means you must know where the equipment was used to decide confirmation of product. The only way I know how to do this is through recording the equipment used in the production records and making that information searchable. You need to do some careful selection of measuring devices because this could create the need for a product recall. Some organizations calibrate to tighter tolerances than the product requirements. This allows the evaluation of the outer tolerance condition to determine if it has an impact on product conformance or not. Another method is to find current and previous lots controlled with the out-of-tolerance equipment and measure a representative sample with the device that is within tolerance to determine if the out-of-tolerance condition impacted product conformity. Any way the study is done, it will be costly and records must be kept. In order to prevent these kinds of situations, it is important to safeguard equipment from adjustment or deterioration or damage. I see many companies keeping them in their original packaging. Do whatever works best for your company, but it is well worth your while to protect and safeguard the equipment. Now, in the video on Product and Service Provision, Section 7.5, we discussed validation of production software. Software used to monitor or measure product must also be validated. The validation must occur prior to use and after changes if appropriate. Records of validation results and conclusions and actions must be maintained, and validation and revalidation must be proportional to the risk. Once again, you should talk to your registrar about the requirements for validation. Is the commercially available software considered validated if you don't modify it? Or do you need to get validation records from the software company, or must you do your own validation? This does seem to be varying from registrar to registrar. So there you have it, very short video. We have talked about the control of monitoring and measuring equipment. If you found this video helpful, please like and share and subscribe. If you would like more information, check out our website, www.technicon.com. If you need assistance, please email us at technicon1986@sbcglobal.net or call 708-814-3685. Please go out and have a wonderful day.